Welcome to the hottest grappling show in Arizona. The Valley is home to an amazing grappling community. Join us as we roll through the top jiu-jitsu schools in the state. Our goal? To highlight incredible instructors, their academies, and their amazing journeys through life and jiu-jitsu. It's not the destination, it's the journey that counts. Welcome to Rollin Through the Valley.
Elbow, grabbing my bicep. Sit.
Kioto Bjj.
Stills here, rolling through the valley. Here we are at Kioto Southwest, and with me is Professor Joe Lutrario and Elizabeth Lutrario.
Spoken like somebody from back east, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you.
You guys
Thank
have
you.
an amazing school here, so we'd love to get to know you guys a little bit more. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about you, Joe, starting off with you.
Well, I'm a retired police officer from New York City. I've been training a little over 20 years. Moved out here with my wife Elizabeth 8 years ago. Always knew that we were going to have a school.
East Coast, by the way.
That's right. Let's go, New York.
East Coast, by the way.
New York, New Jersey.
Yes, yes.
Always knew we were going to have a school of our own. We believe in our lineage. We believe in our traditions, and this is just a way of us giving back to those that have given so much to us. And you know, for us, it's time for us to share what they've given. So that's about it. You know, jiu-jitsu has saved my life, just like many people can say.
Yeah.
I can't imagine our lives without it. It's just been a part of us
Yeah.
for the longest part of my adulthood, for sure.
So you guys started this together?
Yes.
The
Yes,
gym, and it's
yes.
been 2 years in this location. But
Yes.
You
Yeah.
said you were teaching prior to this, or tell us a little bit about your history.
Well, I started coming out to Arizona because every New Yorker, especially cops, goes down to Florida, so I decided to go a different direction, and I'm not a big California fan, so I had family out in Arizona. I would come out here and train at various gyms and developed a lot of friends and friendships. And every time I started coming out, as I got a little bit more experience, they'd ask me to cover classes, and that's kind of where it started. I was an instructor back in New York for our Professor Milton and Master Mansour. So coming out here and teaching and creating a little bit of a following and meeting, you know, some of the greatest people in my life today.
Yeah.
The next step was really just to start and do something, you know, on our own.
So how did you guys get into jiu-jitsu?
Well,
I'd love to know.
you want to start?
Yeah, let's start with
Oh,
Elizabeth.
what, how I got into
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu?
how'd you get into it?
Well, I met my husband, Joe, and I went to a class. He told me he was doing martial arts. And I went to a class, and I loved it. I was like, I said, this is like combat. I want to do this. I just really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I was excited to do it. And Joe was doing the instructor course at the time. So he went over some of the things in class. And I actually went to a class, and then I had young kids. So at the time, I was like, I don't know if I can do this because I'm trying to balance all that. But then I had a friend come with me. And she wasn't into it. She was like,
No.
I don't want to have someone sweating all over me.
Really?
And I was like, I'm going to join. So then I joined. So
Nice.
I know sometimes people will come to a couple classes. I know Milton said that. I knew I wanted to do it right away, but sometimes there's other things in their lives that, you know.
Yeah.
But I was just really
Hooked.
hooked into it.
And
I
so
just-
when you started, you were probably like the only girl, because this was...
Oh, yeah. There was
like-
actually a couple girls at the time that were
Really?
there.
Oh, wow.
And I remembered, and it's hard to think about this now, but I remembered feeling a little awkward, which I try to remember that when people first come. Because even though I have brothers and I did a lot of competing, like did triathlons and different fitness, being a personal trainer, I also remembered feeling awkward.
Yeah.
And I remembered Milton saying, he told me, get on top of this girl. And I'm like I didn't know what we were really doing. You know what I mean? So, and knowing what I do and how comfortable I am, and I just train with everyone. I never worry about it, but I always remember that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think about that for other girls or it's for men too, because I think getting into your personal space initially, it's hard for people because they don't, that's part of when we first have a first student coming in, is making feel comfortable enough that they know this is what we do, and you know, you kind of you don't want to explain too much, but you want to give them an idea of what's happening so they know what you're getting into their space, and then they just get hooked once they realize it. And I kind of I kind of let them know, I felt like this too, you know what I mean, but I got over that pretty quick because I was like,
What about you, Joe? How did you start jiu-jitsu?
Well, I wrestled in high school, wrestled in college, and I've heard about the Gracies back then, saw a couple of clips of them fighting in Brazil. I was a shut-in after 9/11. I didn't leave my house. My PTSD was through the roof. I was afraid to leave my home. I didn't like anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wind up going through a divorce, and I would have people actually take me to the courthouse and back whenever I had to go to court. And we had stopped for food, and I saw a sign on a storefront that said Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I just remembered the Gracies, and I got myself out of the car, walked in, got the name of the professor, called him up as soon as I got home, and he told me to come down the next morning, and I absolutely loved it from day one. And over a period of time, it just became some place that I was the only other place outside of my apartment or my home at the time, was the only place I felt safe. So it wasn't easy for me to get there, but when I was there, it was easy for me to be there.
Well, you've been doing this for a while, so obviously jiu-jitsu means something to you.
A little bit.
So what does jiu-jitsu actually mean to you, in your own words?
So jiu-jitsu is a way of life. It offers so much to many different people and something for everybody. So everybody's going to have a different answer to that question, and I suppose what it means for me is it gave me the opportunity to start again. It gave me the opportunity to help others start again. And jiu-jitsu is Master, we talk to Master all the time, and he still says, he goes, jiu-jitsu is a gift from God. And if you harness that and utilize it the way he wants it to be utilized, you could impact people in ways that, is incredible. You could never, ever imagine doing it in any other way. And as a former police officer, yes, okay, most of the things that I ever went to were negative things, but you still impact people in somewhat. Sometimes bad, sometimes good, but I'll tell you, I've never experienced anything that has helped me more or seen what jiu-jitsu has done for others.
Yeah, and especially now being an instructor, that takes it to a whole new level, right?
Absolutely.
Like there's more meaning behind it.
Absolutely.
Because now you're teaching other people how to defend themselves.
Yep.
And then you get to see the process, from white to black. So that's really cool.
It is. It's an amazing thing, and as a black belt, my personal feeling is, we have an obligation, and it's a positive obligation. It's not a negative obligation to take the things that we were taught. Our professor, our master gave themselves to us. And I think it would be selfish for me, selfish for Elizabeth to stop sharing what they gave to us. It's very important to us, and that's really the reason why we walk through the door every day.
Yeah.
It's important for us to not be selfish and give back as much as we possibly can.
Right. What about you, Elizabeth? What does it mean to you?
Well, when he was mentioning about teaching this, I remembered we have some instructors going through the instructor course, and I still have my professor. Like, I can visually and actually hear him teaching me the techniques he taught me. And it's amazing that sticks with you like
Forever,
that.
right?
Yeah, so it's like, I just remember exactly how he showed me to teach it, and we do that, and we give that to our students. So I'm very lucky that my professor we had instructor course, and I remember I was excited about doing it, and I remembered him saying, well, it's not, because, I was into competing and doing all these different things, so, he wants to make sure you want to do this because you want to help people. Yeah. And I was like, I really want to do this to help people and learn. So you don't get to just be the instructor. You have to be him say, yes, you qualify, you can go in to be instructor. And I was excited about learning. And it entered a different way of looking at the jiu-jitsu too. I remember learning a different, one technique at a time, but when you learn in the instructor course, you start putting them all different techniques from different positions, and you start to see the sequence. And to me, that actually helped me to learn better, because, and then it helped me be able to bring that to my students, and then do it and simplify. So by doing it, we can take it smaller points for people that are just learning, and then more. So there's all different levels. So each person, and that's what we do at the academy. Each person has a different level they're at, and we can implement this where the student needs more, we can add more. If the student needs less, learn less. You know, just so they're comfortable.
I love how strategic you guys are with your teaching.
Thank you.
It's nice. I mean, it shows in competition, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we never take the credit for that. I will never take credit for that. These are the guys and the gals that come through this door. You know, they put the time in, they put the sweat, they put the effort, and then they go out there and represent us.
Yes.
And that's enough for us. We don't need anybody to come back with any kind of medals to make us feel good. The fact that they go out there, they do it for themselves, they do it for each other, and they do it for us and the Kyoto school and the Kyoto name. And that's really, you know, what's important to us. But yes, it does show on the mats, whether it be here or in a competition.
So you guys have competed before, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe competition is for everybody?
You know, it's an interesting question, and you read a lot of different articles about this. I think everybody should compete again at least once. And I don't think everybody should do it. Everybody should do it at their own time, whether it's when they're white belt, whether it's they're blue, purple, brown, or black. I think everybody should do it when they are ready. Emotionally ready, mentally ready. It doesn't matter if you're technically ready at a white belt. You just go out there and experience the experience and learn from it. So I do think everybody should compete at least once, but I don't think it should be forced on anybody. You know, like I always say, jiu-jitsu offers something for everybody. And people just want to come for 1 day a week. Some people want to come 6 days a week. Some people want to compete at everything that they can. They want to travel. They want to compete different tournaments all over the country, all over the world. And that's great. And then there's the people in between.
Right.
So no, I don't think it's important for everybody to compete. I don't think that's a criteria that they need to have hanging over their head in order for them to become successful in what we do. Although I do think it's a great experience for them to do it at least once when they're ready.
So Elizabeth?
Well, I think also what we talk about is that even if someone's competing, everyone there is getting that person ready for competition. So it's always about the team. It's always about everyone. So when we go to competition, we always have all our students come, we wear our t-shirts, and we really support each other, because that person competing could not have done what they did if these people at our academy didn't train with them.
Yeah.
So some of the people, we know that they could compete or they're capable of competing, but they don't, but they're still part of that.
Right.
So, and then a lot of times they'll end up competing because they see that their other teammates could do it. And that was something that was important to me, because we started with ladies, and some of the ladies were nervous about it, and I was like, I want the ladies to see me doing this, because I want them to see that they can do it. And then, you know, we had a ladies class. I know Joe actually would help the ladies class in New York too, sometimes.
I'm pretty non-threatening, so.
So we started one in New York, and a lot of the ladies would feel more comfortable and then go and compete. And I just, you know, I think it's important as a team. And I always felt like when I did well at a competition, it's not about me. There's no way I could do what I did if it wasn't for my professor and my teammates. Because you can't, it's not a solo. This is not a solo sport. This is people that you train with that push you to that limit. And you know, and also at the tournaments, there wasn't a lot of ladies to compete with.
Right, back
I
then.
would be like, whoever was there, I'd be like, okay, let's compete.
Let's
you
do
know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your competition experience. So I know we talked a little before this, and you said you love to compete. So
I love doing it, like getting excited about it. But I think this happens to a lot of people, that when I actually get to the competition, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
It's like, it's too late to back out now. Might as well just go with it, right?
And then I told you my line. A lot of times I'll be like, as it comes closer, I'm closer to it being over.
Yeah.
And then I think the quicker I can get this person choked out or tap the person, the most likely it's
but
going to be
at
over
the end of the
quicker.
day, you loved it.
Oh,
though.
of course,
Yeah.
of course. I couldn't wait. Sign me up again.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
like manic in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I just couldn't
right?
wait to go out there and compete
Yeah.
again because it challenged me as an individual. And that was something that, growing up shy and then, and also second guessing myself. Jiu-jitsu, I couldn't do that. I had to just do what I need to do, be confident in what I had to do, and just go out and do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I talk to people about when they start to compete.
Yeah.
When you go and someone's in front of you, they're ready for you.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for this.
Yeah.
And just go for it. Don't wait for
Right.
someone else. Do what you have to do, because I think that's hard for people.
Yeah.
Giving out my secret.
It's okay. It's okay.
We'll edit that out.
So do you still compete?
I'm spending my time with the students now
Okay.
because the last time I did, I competed at black belt and of course brown, and I did a lot of competitions in New York when we came out here.
Yeah.
But
No, we got to get you back out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what? You
Yeah,
got to
no
sign up.
kidding.
We're going to make you sign up.
it comes to me when I train with people, but then
Yeah.
I think about all the energy we put into our students and helping them compete.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like when we're there with our students competing, it's hard for us to be
Right.
focused on our own, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
we want to
yeah,
be there
absolutely.
for them. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what
absolutely.
happens,
What about you, Joe?
Well, I wrestled, like I said, and I loved competing. I had hundreds of matches as a wrestler, and then when that was done, it was kind of hard, getting beat up in the street by New York City thugs wasn't really competition. Thank God I had a big partner. So when I found jiu-jitsu, I wouldn't even tell my professor. We didn't really have, like the system we have today, where you can see it all over social media. There's a tournament here, tournament there. You'd get various emails from a tournament in Connecticut or a tournament in South Carolina or in Delaware or in Jersey. So I would just jump in my car and just compete. I wouldn't tell my professor. I wouldn't tell teammates. I would say, well, and back then too, it was sign up at the door. So you just show up and, you have a couple of fights and you go home. So I did a lot of that. Pretty much throughout up until purple belt, and then I started competing more as technology. We started competing more as a team all over, going to the Worlds and the Pans and things like that. So I loved competing. Like you mentioned before, Elizabeth, you go out there, and I always had this feeling, no matter what, even as a black belt, I'd go out there, and the first time I grabbed a guy or he grabbed me, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Here. And then that's gone as fast as it came, but it was always still the same thing. But and when it was over, I'd say, wow, this is probably going to be my last one. And on the way home, it's like, well, when's the next tournament? Let's see, I'm going to sign up. But unfortunately, 3 years ago, I broke my neck, and I don't think I want to take that risk of training at that level again. And it was a big challenge for me to find that transition to becoming a full-time professor, and as opposed to a competitor and a professor. And it was difficult to make that transition, but realizing that our students are more important than us. I've had my time already. I did what I had to do. I have nothing. My professor said it all the time. You got nothing else to prove. So for me, if one of us is to get hurt, the only people that are really going to suffer are students. So we want to make sure, not that we're anything great or anything, but they come here to learn from us, right? So if anything was to happen, I feel like I would be doing an injustice to them. So again, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm old. So
You're not old. Are you kidding? You still do this, so.
yeah.
I mean.
I do it better in my dreams, though.
Love it. Okay, so you offer competition classes here or no? Is it?
Yeah, so what we do. When competition time comes around and we have people starting to sign up, we have competition classes.
Okay. How do you run your competition classes?
Well, most of the people, well, it depends. So we definitely go over rules because that's very important. Rules are very important. One of the greatest books I ever read was written about Dan Gable, and he's one of the gods for any wrestler. And, he talks about how to win in a tournament, or how to win in a match, and it's not necessarily going out there looking to pin somebody, looking out there to go and submit everybody. It's about utilizing time and utilizing opportunities for points and so forth. So we do want to encourage everybody to know, the actual rules, what's legal, what's not legal, first of all. But we do a lot of drilling. I mean, everything that you do second nature without thinking, whether it be in here, out there in the street, in the parking lot, or out in a competition, is where you're going to have your success. So every time you fight, every time you train, everybody's going to be different. Every training episode is going to be different. So you have to be able to tell what's going to happen next, at least what you think your opponent's going to do. And there's a way that I always explain it. If I want to move my opponent, I am not going to move that guy. It takes too much energy. I'll move me to get a reaction out of him. So we do a lot of situationals, we do a lot of drilling, and we do a lot of live training. And why? Because that's what fighting is, right?
Yeah.
Knowing and becoming efficient and having the belief in what you have inside of you so that you could apply it under pressure.
So competition is definitely a mindset game.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
is there anything that you tell your students, like what do you tell your students before competing? Is there anything that you tell them?
Yes, absolutely. First thing I tell them is have fun.
Yeah.
You're there to have fun, okay? Your biggest competitor is not the guy or gal standing in front of you, it's you. And all that your competitor is a gauge. And you first and foremost have fun, and then we come home and we look and we decide where we need to go, what we need to work on, what needs to be polished, and what is done exceptional. So have fun, go out there, it's a learning experience. If it's your first competition, if it's your 60th competition, it doesn't matter. It's always a learning experience. And you do it for yourself, and you do it for the love of what you do. Our students become part of our family. They're our children. And like we said
And
before.
I feel that, by the way.
Do you really?
Walking in here, you guys, I could tell you guys love your students.
Oh, we do. We love you so much.
Like,
I've thrown the people out that I don't like. But it's okay. No, I'm
I
kidding.
mean, not everyone belongs
really.
to the game, right?
So it's important to us, that is. I would have never been able to do this. I probably would not be sitting here if I didn't have my Professor Milton Regis and Master take me under their wing and give me the support that I needed, not just on the mat, but outside, and give me the tools that I needed, to apply out there. And that's very much important to us.
And I think our students realize that it's a privilege, just like we did. And it's not like we say that to them all the time, but they know how much a privilege. Our professor, back in the day, they would only teach it, the jiu-jitsu, to like family members. So my professor teaching it directly from Master Mansour and then to Milton and then to us, and taking that time. I mean, he comes and he takes time. I mean, he's our friend. They're our family. We're so connected to them. And I feel like we try to bring that. And I remember going through the instructor course, it wasn't just about the techniques. It was about how we make this person feel comfortable when they come in, how we, it was more than just, he taught us the whole thing about how to make, So I think he taught us more than just, plus example. It's by doing it by example. I mean, I see him with the kids. He sits down and talks to them like they're little people, and we, it's not like they're not. But I mean, you know what I mean. But I think some people, it's like just really relating to them and really getting them and helping them to grow as individuals. And it's Master. He loves the children because he knows that's the lineage. Where do you think it's going to go? From the kids.
Future right
the
there.
future of jiu-jitsu is in the children and them continuing it.
What advice would you give to your younger self? Because obviously you've learned so much throughout your history doing this. So what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell myself to be patient. Being an Italian, being from Brooklyn, everything is, I want it now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Milton's not like that. So he taught me patience. I'm sure he wanted to kill me many times. And I always say I was probably one of the worst students he's ever had, if not the worst. I would question everything. Why? I don't understand. Why? Tell me why. I don't understand. But I would say patience is the most important thing. Enjoy the ride, man.
Yes.
Have some fun with this. Okay? You know, the destination is not the fun part. It's getting there. And there is no destination. Right? I'll never have a final destination until I stop breathing. So enjoy the ride. Be patient. Don't chase the belt. Don't chase the color. This belt right here, all it does is keep the kimono closed.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it does. Chase the knowledge. Chase the experience. Right? And enjoy that. That's the most important thing. That's what I would tell myself. Just enjoy it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about getting to blue. Don't worry about getting your black belt. Don't worry about, you know, anything but having fun with it. You know, and give yourself a break.
Love it. How about you, Elizabeth?
Well, I was thinking about when students come in the first time, and how sometimes they think they're not going to be able to do it. This is too hard. And I remember that how it was for me when I first came. And I did other things, and I still felt that awkward feeling, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And it's hard to think that after all this time.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, I don't know, if I would look back, I think that, I don't know what I would tell myself differently. I think I tried to enjoy what was happening.
Enjoy the process.
But I think that I miss the time that I had with my professor.
Absolutely.
You know, it's, I don't want to
Very true.
get emotional.
No, it's
But
so true.
it was
I
hard.
can tell you guys love
It was
him.
hard.
Oh,
It was
God.
hard.
Milton and Master.
I'm gonna get emotional.
It's
It was
Okay,
hard.
The
Love
cameras
them.
love that.
we love
It was hard. It was hard to leave
Be
him
away.
and come here. And I remember one of my students were like, what about your black belt? Because I came out, it was brown belt, and I came out here, and I was just so fired up from training with him, and just, you know, so that was hard for us because we didn't, but we still have that connection, but not to see him every day, and not to be able to train with him every day. But we share, that's what we do, is we share what he's
Our
given
turn.
to us.
Right.
And I actually say that.
You're
to
giving it
I say
back.
that to the kids.
Yeah.
I said, this is not in a negative way, but this is a privilege. It's nice. Your parents bring you here, and you can
Yeah.
learn this, and you know, because the
Yeah.
parents, they take you here, and they, you know, and the kids, and they just get so much out of it. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. So
I mean, it really is a privilege to just move in general. Like,
Yes.
especially you learn that after so many injuries, like health complications, whatever it is, you realize, like, it is so, like, to be here, to move, to go to the gym is a privilege.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yes.
Absolutely. And,
Yes.
and
you
it could be
definitely
gone
learn
tomorrow.
that
Yeah.
as you get older,
and,
too.
go ahead.
You know, adversity, right? I mean, we're privileged to be at this point that we are. I mean, I've had cancer. I've had 3 strokes.
Oh,
I mean, I was
wow.
severely injured in 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, you never know when this train is going to stop, when it's going to run out of steam, right? So yes, every day is a privilege, and to enjoy that day, you know, and like Elizabeth
Yeah,
said,
I
you look back.
also I don't always like to talk about my injuries, but I injured my back. That was
Broke
probably
her
the
back.
last time that I competed, and then back in the past I hurt my neck, and they were going to do surgery. It was actually right before competition. I was a blue belt, and I remember I couldn't run, and it just hurt so much. And I went to a competition, and I knew there was times when my ACL was gone, and I still was at the competition with those injuries. I don't recommend that.
You're
but-
not the only one that does that. And
Yeah, we all
it
do it,
boggles
right?
my mind.
Yeah.
though.
We just
Like,
do it, but there's no question
and
about
I-
it. I know it's
crazy.
Yeah,
hilarious.
but then after that, I didn't end up getting the surgery because my knee, I still don't have the ACL, but I was able to go back, and I call it jiu-jitsu rehab.
Yeah.
Any injury you have, it's going to help you with that.
Yeah.
You know, and we're in better shape than I don't want to say, but some people our age.
yeah.
Yeah.
our age
still
because
do
we
it.
do
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and it's just a lot of people, they're afraid to do it. They're afraid to get hurt,
Yeah.
and you know, we want to, and we do have students that are older that come to our classes, but they're able to do it, and they're in better shape, and they feel good, and they love it, and it's good for their mind, and it's good for their bodies because it incorporates everything, flexibility. it helps people with issues with anxiety. It helps people with issues with different things because, you know, everything. So
You've given us so much, so thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
So is there anything happening here that we should know about? Is there anything exciting happening? Or
Well, I think we're a very fairly new school. We're excited about the growth of the team, about the growth of our family here. We are excited about, you know, putting the name Kioto on the map here in Arizona, especially in the Valley.
Yeah.
You know, people that have come before us have spent a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of sweat, blood, and tears. Okay, and we want to make sure that's represented well. So the growth of our academy and the atmosphere that all the students here have created, you know, for new people that come in and the people that are already here amongst themselves, we're excited about the growth. We're excited about adding to jiu-jitsu and helping as many people as we can.
same for you?
yeah, I feel like when we have get-togethers, we have all of our students, all the family come, and that's just connects everyone. And we have different things that we do with our team. It's not just at the academy itself. We get together, watch
Yeah.
fights together, do things
Love
together.
it.
They come for our house for holidays,
Yeah,
and they just become. They're
Yeah.
just.
I
yeah.
love it. So you
So-
started with two people coming in, and now you have a whole school. And
Yeah. One of those
Yeah.
two are
Yeah.
still with us,
Yeah.
and he's a blue belt, yeah?
oh my God,
Yeah.
who's that?
Yeah.
His name is Darren Anderson.
Yes.
Darren,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
He won the Arizona State Open
Did
when he
he?
was a white belt,
Nice.
2023, I think it was.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Then he had some injuries, but he's back on track.
Awesome.
But soon after that, the Millers came on the.
Yeah, well, we got people. Then we grew from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
We grew from
continued.
there.
Yeah.
I love how you guys love your people. Like it's
We do. We love them.
It's great.
We
I
were
just love
loved,
it.
and we are loved. So
Yes.
this is the
That's
Kyoto way.
That's why you feel that emotional.
Yeah.
It's very emotional when your students have challenges. You feel everything
Right.
yourself because
Yeah.
you're so connected to them.
Right,
We wouldn't
absolutely.
want to give any less. It hurts, but
Yeah.
it's like you couldn't.
yeah.
And it's good too. But we wouldn't want to give any less because
Right.
it's important. So.
Where can people find you guys on social media?
Kioto Bjj Southwest. We're on Facebook. We're on what's the other one? Instagram.
Facebook,
Okay,
Instagram.
and of course we have our website.
Or you can just walk in. They're very
Yes.
friendly.
Absolutely.
Yes, you could
Everybody's
come in.
always welcome.
Yes, you could
Come on
always
in.
come in,
Yes.
visit us. Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Well, thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
This
you
was
so much.
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you so much.
So much. So nice getting to meet you
Listen, it
guys.
was
Yes.
it was
Thank you
our
so
privilege.
much.
It was our honor to be
Yeah,
here
we're
with
so
you.
happy.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much for asking us.